What a day. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to the Penguins Collective podcast. My name is Louie.
My name is Josh,
Oh, we're two brothers who love to talk about hockey.
especially the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Yeah, let's talk about those Pittsburgh Penguins, shall we? 4-0 lead against one of the best hockey teams in the NHL. Yeah, let's not do that. Let's just let them score 5 goals straight. How about that? Tristan Jarry comes out of the bench. Nedeljkovic gets hurt. He comes on. He sucks too. He gets pulled again. The game he didn't even start, he gets pulled.
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby decided, hey, let me just put on this team on my back. All right? Let me just get all snugged up. And I'll put this on my back. He literally played the probably best game of the season for Sid. He had a 4-point game tonight. 4 points. He was involved in all the goals. No shocker there. Yeah, we blow a 4-0 lead. It's not great. Kind of upset. Before we dive in, thanks so much for joining us. Thanks so much for hopping on this podcast, whether you're on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram, and Twitter. Appreciate it. And Josh, we're live on Facebook.
Woo!
For the first time. So I'm super excited about that. Forever. Oh, we did a nice harmony there. Look at you. I went low. Look at that. But guys, thank you so much for joining us on Facebook, on all those platforms if you're live. Also, our audio listeners, wherever you listen to your favorite podcast, Spotify, Apple, Google, we appreciate you listening too.
I just realized everyone on Facebook now gets to see my horrible Wi-Fi. It's great.
That's right. So now when they kind of poke you or do whatever they do on Facebook and
Is that still a thing on Facebook?
I don't know.
I know.
I think there was something in the news about poking. Not people poking random people, but I think how that's still a feature on Facebook, and pokes have been at an all-time high since Facebook was created. I don't know. I think I saw something. I could be making that all up. I don't know. But you know what I will? What I do know.
Let's start poking people with the Penguins Collective account.
Poke. PowerPoint. All right. We have a guy already in the chat.
What is going on here?
Guy in the chat. Welcome. He is representing the state of Colorado.
Or
she. We don't know. All we know is the state of Colorado is in our chat saying, as a Avs fan, wow, that game was great. Crosby's still amazing. Let me just tell you some, state of Colorado, okay? All of you. You guys have a great hockey team. We don't really have a great hockey team. And the fact that we were putting up 4-0 to you for 45 minutes of this game, it's probably the greatest point of our season all year, okay? You just had to go ahead and ruin it, didn't you? You just had to ruin it. You couldn't let us have this one, all right? Now, a lot of people out there in Colorado believe that Sidney Crosby will become an Avalanche. In your stupid little dreams, okay? You keep that blasphemous idea. What I said made sense. Don't second guess it.
No, but it just doesn't sound right. Become an Avalanche? Become an Avalanche?
Well, maybe if they had a good hockey team name, Josh.
I know.
Maybe it'd be easier to say. But these dum-dums.
I think it's because it doesn't end with an S. So you can't.
Well, yeah, because it's not plural. So it's always weird. Where are you going? A wild. Is it I'm a wild.
Yeah. Is it like deer, where it's plural is the same? So
no, because
avalanches. There's multiple avalanches.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you don't look at Colorado, those Rocky Mountains, and you see one avalanche, you go, oh, look at that avalanche, and then another one happens, you go, whoa, 2 avalanche No, you
Yeah,
go.
no, to Avalanches. Yeah.
But if
Yeah,
you're
correct.
in the wild and you're like, we're in the wild, this is
Wild.
wild. This you don't go plural wilds.
Yeah,
So
it's
wild
true.
is a dumb name.
Yeah.
And no offense, state of Colorado, so is Avalanche, dude.
Yeah.
Avalanche sucks as a team name. Fun fact about Colorado Avalanche, maybe you don't know this, state of Colorado, who's in our chat right now. Did you know the logo was supposed to, be maroon and green?
Nice.
But there was something wrong with the printer when they were showing Gary or whoever the
I ended up being blue.
Yeah. So the printer spit out a logo with blue ink instead of green, and they were like, "Oh yeah, that's so much better." And they went with the blue. So we would have even had a dumb name and a dumb color scheme, but you got saved by a printer refusing to print green.
Yeah.
All right. He keeps on. Dude, you want to fight, state of Colorado?
No,
not
not at all. I think this is a compliment.
He's being very nice. Like,
yes.
say what you will about the state of Colorado. Super duper nice. I tip my hat to your Pens. Capitalize that P. Put some respect on it. That's the best I've seen any team against us since the trade deadline. And that is a great segue to let's talk about this Penguins hockey team, okay?
Yep.
Colorado Avalanche, one of the best hockey teams in the NHL. Today, the Penguins woke up and said, let's also be one of the best hockey teams in the NHL today. They decided to do that. They woke up and said, hey, let's compete. And man, did they compete. They looked phenomenal, okay? Josh and I were talking about this in our episode after the last game, how, man, they haven't really had the time to gel. They haven't really came together as a team. And only if they did it earlier, maybe we would be in a good spot now. Well, that team looked pretty gelled to me today. Yeah. This team was flying. This team was working. And I'll say it right now. I'll shout it from the rooftops of Pittsburgh. Nedeljkovic should be our starter from here on out. Man, did he play lights out against the best team in the NHL. One of the best teams in the NHL. I don't want to give you guys too much credit. Florida still exists. So I just want to say, man, Jari comes in, and after Nedeljkovic got hurt, and was flopping all over the place. Flip-flopping, swimming in the blue paint. Whenever there was a puck, he just did not know what to do with it. And I think that's a problem. You can't have your goalie number one come into a game, not know how to play against the best team in the NHL. You just can't. I know he was cold, and I know you can make an argument for that. Hey, he didn't play like the first two periods. First two. When did Nedeljkovic get hurt? Late second?
Third. No.
In the third.
Yeah.
So, Jari played for how many minutes? 10,
5,
13?
10. Yeah.
And
wasn't long.
He let in 2 goals.
No, he only let in 1 goal. The overtime.
2 goals. He let in 2 goals. He let in the McKinnon goal.
It was 4-3 when Jari came in.
That was 4-2. He let in the 3 and the 4th. All right, whatever. Doesn't matter. He lets in a goal. Doesn't. What?
When I go, you look it up on Twitter.
Okay, that's fine. All right. Also, just kind of rub salt in the wound here. Mike Sullivan confirms Noel Acciari is out with the lower body injury. Hey, let's go Pens here. Let's go.
Let's just first period.
He was back. He came back and played.
No.
Yes, he did. How about you look that up on Twitter? Because Josh gets off and acknowledged at the start of the second, the camera panned to him.
Because in the third, they acknowledged that he was out for the remainder of the game.
Oh, he was. See, we're back and forth. So he came back in the second, probably played the second period, and then was like, yeah, I'm not playing for the rest of the game. And that's probably where we're at, which is fine. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Salt in the wound kind of right now. So Jari comes in, lets in 1 goal, and just doesn't do what we need him to do. Okay? Even if the roles were reversed, Nedeljkovic wouldn't be doing what we need him to do. Come in and be that brick wall because our number one guy is hurt. So, with that being said, Nedeljkovic needs to be number one. Jari stinks. Nedeljkovic held us together. The Penguins need to get better. It's a disappointing loss. You can't have 4-0 and then just lose it. Josh, go ahead. Your turn.
Yeah, today was crazy. I mean, to be honest, we talked about it at the end of the last episode. I thought for sure this was just going to be Colorado controlling the momentum, controlling the possession time, controlling the puck. Everything was going to be just all of them all game. We came out really well. We came out like we were the better team, and everyone was playing well. But, again, every line had flashes. The second line, Malkin's line, looked good again today after having a good performance on Friday. And, of course, you talked about it with Crosby. He was all over the ice, 4-point game. Nothing short of phenomenal out of him again. And then, Puljujärvi gets a goal. Everyone was playing tonight. All four lines looked great. P.O. Joseph got his first goal of the year. You couldn't ask for most of a better game. Most game. You know what I mean?
Thanks, State of Colorado, for hopping in. Thanks, I appreciate it.
Oh, he's leaving. Yeah,
he's leaving.
See ya. Everything seemed to be going our way. They kept getting their shots kept hitting the posts and the crossbar. Alex Nedeljkovic looked like he was literally the second coming of Patrick Waugh out there. He was unreal. He is the reason why that was such a close game the entire game. I think it would have been a blowout otherwise. I don't know if we would have gotten to 4 because, when they were starting to make pushes and, he was making some phenomenal saves, we didn't have 4 yet. It was like 1 or 2 when he was starting to make some good plays against them. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to go up 4-0 and then to just watch it slowly disappear. Because, like I said, everyone was playing well. That Rust goal, that's the type of goal where it's like that goes in when you're feeling it, when you're good, when you are like everything is going your way. Because did you see where the puck went in? It stayed on the ice. There was no lift, so it went between his pad and the post below his skate. Like that's literally like that was as if he shot it from half ice, the center ice line.
Oh, to that little hole.
To the little hole at the intermission.
To get a free car. To get a free car.
That's literally what he did.
Also, great feed by Sid for that goal.
Oh,
anyway,
absolutely. But again, that goes to the point of Crosby just playing a phenomenal game, which it sucks that now that's got to be the highlight of our games. Is like, because I saw someone put it in our Discord, like once they started making the comeback, someone said, I don't care what happens from here on out because I know that Crosby had a good game. And it's like
4 points.
That's so sad. It's so sad that it's like, I don't care. I don't care. Crosby scored. Yeah. We're good to go.
He's back on track with the point per game.
Point per game.
Don't care.
Yeah. Now I think he's ahead though, right? Because he's got 4. I think he needed 2 to be on track.
Just let him keep on going. I don't care. Just let him keep on going.
Yeah. So and I don't even know what to chalk up the collapse to. Like, is it the lack of pressure? Because it felt like they were still putting on some pressure in the third. It felt like it was just Colorado realized that they are in fact the better team and just barreled over us.
There was that, but it was also terrible defense. Look, I want to talk about the last play of the game because that's what's boiling my
in overtime. In overtime?
Yes.
Okay.
Sid, first of all, not his job to play defense. That's not what we pay him to do. So he was going off for a line change, I believe.
He is a 200-foot player, though.
I understand that. That's what we're blessed with, okay?
Ooh.
All these stars aren't 200-foot player. So Sidney Crosby being a 200-foot player, that's just a blessing from above, okay?
Yeah.
That he is. We don't even pay him like that. Let me just be honest. He gets $8 million a year, 8.7 million a year. He could be easily making 12. Okay. He doesn't. Thank God he's superstitious. Also, he took a hometown discount. Definitely not taking a hometown discount this summer. But so anyway, if he was going off for a line change, Sid, and Tanger was the man out there, and he decided to chase and pinch. Okay, if you guys don't know what that means, when a defenseman pinches, it means he will. Oh yeah, sorry. Was it loud? Was it a loud ding?
Yeah, we heard the ding.
All right. When it happened again. I'm just people are blowing my phone up for my hot takes, Josh.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's really not work related. So when a defenseman pinches, he comes out of position. The defenseman will come out of position to meet the forward or the person with the puck out of position. Remember that, to come up and meet him, to play him, to try to poke the puck away, to try to just be physical. Regardless, maybe it's offensive. He wants to pinch in to get the puck to shoot. You see Carlson do this a lot. He'll come down from the blue line to get closer to the net to kind of shoot the puck on net or to create some situations. That's what pinching means. So Letang decided to pinch in this overtime with Sid now having to cover his defensive spot. So Sid covers defensive spot. Letang pinches. Then Drouin, he pinches Drouin with the puck. It's constantly circling. So Letang pinches Drouin with the puck. And then Drouin just takes it to the house. Sid is now circling to go for a line change. Okay? Because he's tired. Let's get some fresh legs on. What needed to happen during this time, in this very split-second situation, Letang pokes the puck or checks Drouin, whatever, so that way he could buy time for a line change. That is Letang's job in this moment. But he doesn't do that. Letang just gives Drouin space. And he just kind of just stays even with him the whole entire time. And then he pulls a Brian Rust. Drouin comes in, wraps in front of the goalie, waits until Nedeljkovic bites and dives down to try to stop it. Empty net for Drouin. He shoots. It's game over. Not once. I'm looking at the goal. He does not make contact with Drouin once.
That's tough.
Horrible defensive play for a guy that we overpay to play defense.
All second half of the season. It's all like literally the second half of the season. You have seen a decline from two of our star players that we need to be playing at a high level all 82 games. And it's Chris Letang and it's Tristan Jarry. Both players had amazing starts to the year.
Correct.
And now have slowly started to decline. I don't know if it's both of them just cashing it in. I don't like saying that about professional athletes because they are, they are professional and they get paid to do what they do. But it just seems like they're mentally, I shouldn't say mentally. It just seems like they are on the decline, and it's frustrating because we need those two to be kind of part of our anchor.
Absolutely. And we have a special guest in the chat here, AB Caniac Sessions, AB from the podcast Caniac Sessions. It's so funny today that everyone in the chat is not Penguins fans. We had the state of Colorado, and now we have a
representative from North Carolina.
That's right. Watch the game, and Jarry pissed me off. However, in all honesty, how y'all feeling about the Canes versus Penguins on Tuesday? What will be the difference maker for either team to come out on top, fellas? You guys are going to win like 7-1. And here's why. I think this is a very easy take. Jake will be back in town for the first time. Okay, we're gonna have a little tribute video. It's gonna be emotional. Oh yeah.
Okay.
What? Well, we're not gonna give him a tribute.
Well,
It's his first time back.
Yeah, I was wondering because I don't know. I still have a like 5%
we're
hope
resigning him.
that we're resigning him in the offseason.
That we're resigning him. Hey,
so like
Carolina didn't extend him yet.
Yeah, exactly.
Good luck with those agents of his. Anyway, but we still gave him a good thank you on social media.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We did everything.
So we did everything right.
Just
so we're gonna
didn't
do
the
everything
video.
right.
Okay.
No. We're gonna do it for him and when he comes in. But first of all, it's gonna be an emotional game for the Penguins. Sid is not gonna play well. I feel like Sid's not gonna play well. Our whole entire offense is not gonna play well. Jari most likely will start, sadly, and you guys are gonna light him up. So I wouldn't be surprised. Realistically, it's probably gonna be like 4-1. I'm gonna guess the game there. You guys are just too fast.
Yeah.
You're too fast. We kept up with Colorado today. But you guys are faster than Colorado. So I don't know if we can keep up. I don't know if we can play well against Jake Guentzel, which is going to be a weird situation.
So I have a feeling. I think what it's going to be is that it can go, like obviously it could go one or two ways. One of the teams is going to win, obviously, but like players have talked about in the past, when you play against former teammates, like they know your strengths and weaknesses, and like theirs. So like I wonder who's going to win that battle. Is it going to be Jake or is it going to be Jari? Is it going to be Jari? No, I know, but what I'm saying, one of them is going to overthink it and not do well. So, and I'm going to put money on that it's Jari that's going to overthink it. Absolutely. But like, what I mean? There's going to be Jari. There's going to be that mind game between those two right away. And then, like you said, like how much are we going to, A, be able to keep up with the speed, but then B, play the physical game that we need in order to slow down that speed when it's Jake. Like, that's where I'm just like I get, like we were able to keep up today because we were a little bit physical. We were able to just like, and not physical in terms of just constantly checking everybody, but just they felt us. Like we were there. Finishing checks, forechecking, back checking. We everywhere. Someone was on puck at all times.
Yeah,
but
that's true.
That's where I don't know how much they're going to want to do that against Jake, and vice versa. Is Bunting going to want to do that against his former team?
Bunting hasn't been in Carolina that long. He was in Toronto the year before.
That is true. That's fair.
So, like, even though,
so what
I'm
is
sure
that,
they
like
created
6 months? 6 months.
Yeah, I'm sure they built a nice relationship there, but like, it's different with Jake. Jake has been here since
100%.
He was a kid. So
yeah,
I think. Listen, I think Jake is going to. I see AB's more comments. We'll get into them, but Jake is going to own Jari. If I had to put money down, Jari's already knowing like Jake's going to go glove hand and I'm going to be smoked. Like, and I think that's what's going to happen. Plus, you got to realize coming into the game, Guentzel is going to be to the whole locker room. Guys, there's their weaknesses, all right? Get down low and just shoot on that. Like, you're getting a goal.
Yeah.
Just go down. Like, I'm guarantee you, he's telling you how, hey, everyone's getting a point tonight. Like, that's if I was Jake, that's what I'd be promising that locker room. Hey, who wants a point? This is what you're going to do. And I honestly think he's going to smoke us. So I'm looking around 4-1 against, and Jake, I wouldn't be surprised if he scores. AB continues. We did the same thing with Bunts, give him a tribute and stuff like that. I haven't watched him a lot for Pitt, but from what you've seen, what do you like and dislike? We were talking about this last game when he scored. AB, that he we had a player, and I know you know this, Patrick Hornquist, for a bit there for a couple seasons, and he was
It's almost
everything we
5,
need. Well, I
wasn't
know,
it?
but
Yeah.
it was like 4 or 5 seasons until
Yeah.
we tragically traded him away for nothing. Anyway, let's not get there. So we had Patrick Hornquist, and he was everything we needed to win a Stanley Cup. He was in front. He was physical. He knew how to play with Sid. Knew how to play with Gino. Wherever you put him, he thrived. And we've been longing for that player ever since he left. Bunce is that guy. He's in front. He could play with Sid. He could play with Gino, and that's very hard to find because they're two different players. So a lot of people who succeed on the first line can't really succeed on the second line because Sid is probably easier to play with, I'm assuming, than Malkin. And Bunting kind of figured his role with Malkin, and he's in front of the net, and he's got, 4 points?
Yeah.
He was on a 4-point streak for the Pens. Coming into today, he didn't get anything today, but he played well. So with that, I love what I've seen from him. Obviously, I want more production, but that's not on him. I want more production on everybody. So
Yeah, I think
it's
the
not
only
just
thing
Michael Bunting.
there's no dislike for him right now. I mean, because obviously, like, you have to look at him in a vacuum. Like, you can't look at him and compare him to Jake, which a lot of fans are doing, and it's frustrating. Like, I get it, he was a part of the Jake trade, but they aren't equal players. Like, you just can't compare the two. They're two different types of players. So it's frustrating when people are saying Bunting isn't scoring at the level Jake was scoring. It's like, yeah, obviously. Like, he's just not going to. He's not a 40-goal season player. It's just not
And
who
if he
is.
was, cool.
Yeah.
But he's not.
Go ahead. Yeah. So the only thing that I can hate on him at this point, which obviously is not his fault whatsoever is not his fault. Just obviously there's just some miscommunication, mistimed passes when it comes to, him, Gino, Raquel. But I think that's just what we talked about last episode, not meshing yet. So if Sullivan will keep that line together as the season goes on, and if they all come back next year, I think we'll see more production come out of those guys once they gel together. Because, like you said, he's that guy that we needed down in front for the last 3-4 years that Hornquist hasn't been here. So, I mean, it's nice, and it's nice to see that he did well today. Didn't get a point. Same thing with Raquel. That's why I felt like that line is so good right now, because they are doing the things that don't get you points or anything like that extremely well. Raquel blocked a bunch of shots. Raquel got in passing lanes. Bunting was just being a pest everywhere, which is one thing that I love about him, is that they talked about it. I don't know if it was last game or the game before, where they said that his back check, his forecheck is just so persistent. He causes errors because they feel him approaching him. That's what I was saying earlier about us being constantly around Colorado. It's not so much that we're staying up with them in terms of speed, but when you hear someone huffing and puffing behind you, you think you gotta do something with the puck. And that's what Bunting is always doing. He's right there forcing errant passes, making people make quick decisions that they don't want to do in that moment. And I think that's why that line is doing really well right now, and hopefully it meshes better. But obviously, too little, too late. But it is what it is.
It is what it is. Hold on. Well, he's here. Hold on. This was. Can't you see in the left?
No.
You can't see? Hold on. He's getting set up. So he's getting everything situated before he hops on. But this was hold on. We'll introduce him in a second. William says this is brutal watching a 4-0 lead disappear. You could feel we'd lose after the first goal. No, I don't think so.
I did.
I said,
here we go. That's what I did.
When we were up, when we got 4, I was like, okay, they're gonna get some. And when it was 4-2, I was like, oh, all right,
Well,
here we go. Then 4-3, oh gosh, and then I knew that 4th goal was coming. But
I think it was right after the first one, Josh Getzoff talked about how the Avalanche's last game, they played the Columbus Blue Jackets. Columbus scored first, and Colorado scored 6 straight. And when he mentioned that, I was like, we're
Josh
screwed.
Getzoff. We love Josh Getzoff,
screwed.
but he jinxes the crap out of the Penguins. Will says I did because our body. That's something I tweeted out, was saying, don't take your foot off the gas. And of course we did when we were up 4-0.
Yeah.
Of course we did. And then whatever. But he's in the chat. Now he's with us live.
Oh, nice.
AB from the Caniac Sessions is here. Did we play the Hurricanes? No. Did he come on here to absolutely trash talk us about having Jake Gensel?
No.
Absolutely. Nope. Welcome to the podcast, AB. How's it going?
It's going well. Appreciate you guys having me. I just wanted to add some stuff, and I hate typing. I hate texting, and
Sure.
But let me just hit you with some of this.
Oh boy.
So Bunting in 60 games, 13, 23, 36 points. All right.
Okay.
55 penalty minutes. Last year in Toronto, 23 goals, 26 assists, 49 points, was a plus 21, 103 penalty minutes. And in 9 games, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. The plus minus is not, I hate the plus minus stat, but
Yeah, same.
It is what it is. But man, you have him for 2 more years, and Kyle Dubas obviously is familiar with this game, general manager of the Maple Leafs. Bunting has proved that he can be is a top 6 forward. Going from a system that is very fast paced and just enter the zone, shots on net, get out in front, to what you guys have, it's a lot different. And obviously with Getsel, he is a phenomenal player. And what bothered me too, I will say this: Sidney Crosby's 36.
Yep. Nailed it.
And he has 73 points.
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't happen. I don't know anybody that is 36 that scores 73 points. Obviously, Ovechkin could probably score, like 30 goals or something like that at his age. But Crosby does everything. He's solid offensively. The face-off draws. I hate when him and Jordan Staal go in the face-off circle, because I know what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah. He leads the NHL right now.
Well, there you go. He's one of the all-time greats. And, once Bunting gets accustomed to that line, it's going to be spectacular. Now, it's obviously not going to happen within the span of 4 months, or since the time is left, a month. But he's a key piece to have, because honestly, Crosby could play until he's 45.
Yeah.
If he chooses.
Yeah. If he chooses. That's the thing. And I don't know. I will say this about Getsel, and I'm not rubbing it in your face. I'm not, anything like that. But something that really bothered me, and it may bother you, is that I've seen tweets, I've seen, stuff all around that Getsel is only good because he played with Sidney Crosby. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Now, if we look at his stats, he's only played 7 games for us. He's got 2 goals, 1 shootout winner, 9 assists, and 11 points. That's kind of what bothered me, because if anybody were to have Sidney Crosby, he would make everybody around him better. But let's not forget the fact that Jake Getsel is a top 6 forward. And, it happened that he was able to thrive here. And the same thing with, I will say, Evgeny Kuznetsov, when he got traded to the Hurricanes, I was very against it. But then once he did, the little spread the wings celebration, I was like, okay, it's not bad. But I know
don't clip that.
I know that y'all have had bad memories with him, and so have we. Same with Dmitry Orlov. So, I mean, that's really all it is to it. And Bunting's he's on a solid contract. He's not getting paid $6 million for the rest of 2 years. He's on a 4.5, which I think is a fair deal for
especially
what he
with
can
the cap
bring.
raise,
Yeah. So, I mean, don't lose faith. That's all I'm gonna say.
We're
not
excited about him.
We're excited about. Go ahead, Josh.
Yeah, sorry. We're excited for Bunting. It's frustrating, because a lot of fans, like what you were saying, those same fans that say that Gensel is only as good as Crosby, like he's only good because of Crosby, are the same ones that are comparing him to Bunting and saying that Bunting is not performing well enough. And it's like, they're not the same type of player. Like, yes, Bunting can score, which is great, which is what we need. But at the same time, like, he's not going to put up 40 goals and, be a point per game player like Gensel is. So yes, I'm excited for Bunting in the role that he is going to play for us, because that is something that we've drastically needed. And like you said, I mean, the contract is built perfectly for him. I love it, because Louie just mentioned the salary cap's going to go up next year. I won't be surprised if it goes up again the following year, another, $3 million to $5 million. So these contracts that everyone thinks are just overinflated right now are going to look like nothing in 2 years. You're going to see even more inflation with contracts. So I'm going for him. I really am.
I will say this is that when we first talked, when we first met, the power play for the Penguins had so many star-studded people.
Yeah.
They had Erik Karlsson, who is clearly not the player that he is. And I've heard rumors about, maybe he's moving on. And you have Sidney Crosby, who's obviously going to be great. Evgeny Malkin, when he's on, he's on. Jake Getzel. I don't know if they put Chris Letang out there, but I know they have a solid power play when you look at the piece of paper. Now,
on paper, it's phenomenal.
Y'all have talked about finishing. Michael Bunting is the player that will get in the dirty areas, and if the shot goes off the blocker or the pads, he's going to follow up, and he's going to make it difficult for a goaltender to step back up, because he's going to be on his knees with Michael Bunting in front of the net.
I think one of his goals is a power play goal, and it happened exactly that way. It was literally just on the doorstep. He's right there, and he just punched it home while literally diving to the ice. So that's what I loved. That's what I loved about him. That was one of his first games, was that he's literally just reckless abandonment, just going straight to the puck. Doesn't care that the goalie is right there, but he's going to get it in the net.
That's why I liked Bunting on the power play. And Gensel is a great player, but he's not fit to fill that role for the Hurricanes. And we've struggled with rebounds. We've struggled with everything like that. Gensel sets up plays. He's just a great passer. He's a great shooter. But that's one thing I miss about Bunting. He got in the dirty areas. So y'all are very lucky to have a guy that will get in the dirty areas to make stuff happen.
Absolutely. I mean, and I think I speak for Josh and at least our perspective is, we obviously, for Gensel, we wanted more, right? We still believe we got fleeced as of right now. But I'm happy with the return of Bunting. Obviously, I wanted more, but Bunting, I loved that acquisition from the Pens, because we needed to fill that role. And like you said, we got Sidney Crosby. I'm good. We can, we're also in the mindset of Jake Gensel is gone. Yes. Is it sad? Yes. but it's done. It's over with.
Mm-hmm.
So move on. Turn the page, as our coach likes to say. Turn the page. It's over. It's done with. So who are we putting up there to kind of fill that role for Jake Guentzel? We have a young guy named Drew O'Connor. He's now been playing on the first line. And he reminds us of a young Jake Guentzel who's coming into his own, who's making his own kind of plays. And Sidney Crosby, I want to phrase this correctly. Without Sidney Crosby, Jake Guentzel is still a phenomenal player. But I think that time he played with Sid made him an even better player than he was. Mm-hmm. So Drew O'Connor is a good hockey player. Give him a year or 2 years with Sid, he's going to be our new Jake Guentzel. So that's at least that's my perspective. I'm assuming Josh agrees with it. Yeah. But we have some good people. Bunting is kind of, I love Bunting on the second line, and I really want to see him more on the first power play unit. Mm-hmm. He's going to get us a lot more goals than we realize. And Dubas has made some questionable moves sometimes, but I think he knows what he's doing. Like you said, he knows Michael Bunting. He knows how he plays and how he can produce. He saw a need for the Penguins, and he filled it perfectly. So I can't wait. I can't wait for what Michael Bunting does with the Penguins. I am happy that I do not have to worry about Michael Bunting next season. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
You know, we have so many uncertainties going into next season. It's nice to know I have Michael Bunting in front of the net next season. Great. Cool. Moving on, All
right. So I'm just going to ask you this. Can I cuss on here, or do you want me to keep it family friendly?
No, you can cuss on here. Go ahead.
The reason why I like Michael Bunting is because he's a fucking asshole. And I love people.
You went right for it. Okay, cool.
Yeah, because with ours, we try to keep it family friendly, but I always ask.
Yeah. But so do we, but we're not.
He's a pest, and I love hockey players that just get under your skin and get in the dirty areas. That's why I like Brendan Lemieux. Yes, he's in and out of the lineup, but he's a pest. Same thing with Michael Bunting, but the difference between Lemieux and Michael Bunting is that Bunting can back it up to where he can score, he can fight, he can get assists. He's just a great player. And I will say this, you were talking about Drew O'Connor, and I think this is really overlooked by fans. Lots of fans want to get a guy that is like a Connor Bedard that is in the AHL for 4 months and then pops in and is 40-goal scorer, 60 points, But they have to realize that these players that are drafted, unless they're in the top 5, are not ready, but the potential is there. Mm-hmm. So if you, like you said, you give him a year, 2 years, he's going to be a solid player, because you can't throw somebody into an NHL system with the best players in the world and say, hey, go out and do this. So that's why I really, really highlight that the system in whether it's the AHL, the ECHL, or college hockey, these guys are so young. They're trying to get better. But if you have a Connor Bedard, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl, yes, it's going to be instant. But my thing to Pens fans, and I can't speak, is just patience is a virtue.
You don't know Pittsburgh.
I know y'all have been to the top of the mountain so many times. We haven't won a Stanley Cup in 18 years.
Yeah, was it 2006?
2004?
2006, and we haven't been to the playoffs for a stretch since 2009. 2019 was the last time we broke a 10-year spell of making the playoffs. So,
yeah, see, something you need to know about Pittsburgh. A lot of teams are or fan bases, they're patient, Hey, we're rebuilding, and if that rebuild takes 5 years to get to where we need to be, we're okay with that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Pittsburgh does not like that. Pittsburgh will say, oh, we didn't make the playoffs. We're not going to make the playoffs again. We want everyone gone. We want everyone gone. There's people on Twitter right now saying maybe we should trade Sidney Crosby so he can go get a Stanley Cup. People are legitimately saying we should get rid of Crosby. Pittsburgh fans are nuts, okay? We always make fun of them on this podcast because their nickname is Yinzers, and these Yinzers are just dumb because everyone overreacts in Pittsburgh. We're talking football. Look how they reacted with the Steelers, okay? Steelers have made the playoffs every single season, but they have one terrible season. They fired their offensive coordinator all out of pressure, I may add. He did nothing wrong technically. The players sucked, but guess what? They fired him because there were people literally like an angry mob outside of the thing, and they wanted him gone. He's gone. Now they have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. They overcompensate to go win. Like they didn't need to get Justin Fields, but they did. Like that's the way Steelers in Pittsburgh reacts. Look at what Penguins are doing. I have a feeling that during the offseason, we may overcompensate. Okay. Getting rid of Erik Karlsson, getting massive trade draft picks, and then going out and getting some guys in the bottom 6 that can kind of help us win now. I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. So I will tell you one thing about Pittsburgh. We're not waiting to be bad. We're not waiting. No. I mean, we're going to try to win a cup next year.
If Dubas doesn't do enough this offseason, you're going to hear it loud coming from Pittsburgh. Dubas. It's going to get loud because the thing is, not only are the Pittsburgh fans crazy, but the fact of the matter is, you mentioned it. Crosby is 36 years old. How many of these seasons are you going to waste? And I think that's what it really boils down to, especially when it comes to Penguins fans, is that what are we doing in order to capitalize this time that we have left with Crosby? Because that was the intent of the Karlsson move to begin with, was to bring him in.
Get a cup.
Make another cup run. We mentioned it. Who knows if we were actually in a better position, we may still have Jake Gensel. He may not be re-signed, but we still may have him. But now we're in a completely different alternate universe here where, Penguins suck, but Crosby's still doing Crosby things. And we're not used to it.
Not only that, what happened last year, Josh? The Penguins, all right, we would have continued our 17-year reign making the playoffs, right? Longest in North American sports of making the playoffs. And we missed it by what? A point?
A point.
Right? The first thing out of everyone's mouth was fire sale after a season of missing the playoffs. Yeah. And now we continue to suck. Don't get me wrong. It hasn't been a great season, but people are saying fire this coach, fire everyone. Kyle Dubas, if he doesn't make the right changes, he needs to go. Trade Crosby, Malkin, Letang to get the one more cup for them, and then we rebuild next season, and then we go for a cup. So there is a lot of camps in the Pittsburgh fan base. I like to take the fan base of the Carolina Hurricanes. You guys have a great fan base. You have some great history, and you've not at the slope. You've always been a great hockey team. But the Penguins refuse to take that path. I've never seen a GM succeed. Look at Ron Hextall. Was here for 3 seasons. He got fired because he made too many calls, Penguins are different, man. And I'm not trying to flex on anything. I'm not. I'm just saying we refuse to do a rebuild. I don't think I could promise you when Kyle Dubas took this job, if he said in the interview, I would like to rebuild, they would probably kick him out mid-sentence. Pittsburgh is not doing a rebuild at all.
Yeah, at all. My first thing is whoever tweets that Sidney Crosby should be traded from Pittsburgh, I think, however old they are, need to go start back in kindergarten, make their way all the way up to high school, because that is the worst thing you can ever do. And as a fan, and I've seen teams all around the NHL, and especially with Pittsburgh. They've had great players. They've had Yager, Mario Lemieux. They've had Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, just to name a few. I completely understand the frustration. And the Penguins have been around for a while, and it's the same thing with the Maple Leafs and the Canadians. The Canadians have the most Stanley Cups of all time. And I think the last time they won was when Patrick Waugh was their goaltender. And they have a legendary history. And, you have to think of the frustration of all these teams that have been to the top for so long. And now, maybe it's a little bit different. But like you were saying about how the Hurricanes we were the Hartford Whalers before. Didn't work out. And then Peter Karmanos, who is now with the Vancouver Canucks, and has been there for a couple of years. We got very lucky. We made the 2001-2002 season. We made it to the Stanley Cup and got our butts pushed in against the Red Wings, and really didn't have a clear path to success. And then we somehow won the Stanley Cup in 2006, but after, I think the farthest we went was in 2009. We beat the Bruins in overtime, and then we faced the Penguins, and we got swept. After that, we did not make the playoffs until 2019. Our franchise was on the brink of being relocated because, obviously, Pittsburgh, Montreal, Toronto, those three teams, they're going to have a hefty capacity for their fans every single game. Carolina came into hockey in 1997. So, hockey wasn't really well known. I think our average attendance was 11,000 people. And I remember times where you could buy a ticket for 300 level and you can sneak down to 100 right where the glass is. That's how bad we were. And now
sounds like
it's a totally different story.
Yeah.
I understand that, teams go through rebuilds, but if you're a hot team like Montreal, Pittsburgh, or Toronto, you don't have time for it. And if one bad season happens, it's just like fire it. And I don't know if you guys like football or not, but if you look at Alabama, who has been on top for so long, if you have one bad year, okay. But if you have a second bad year, you're done.
Yep.
So I understand y'all's frustration, and the rebuild is not like in the agenda for these huge teams, but for teams that were low, like the Hurricanes or any other team, drastically rebuilding. But in the moment, it feels like it's going to be 30 years of rebuilding.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and we actually just played against Dallas. That was one thing that they were like referring to, is that, they were in the process of their rebuild or whatever, and they just struck gold on that one draft where they got, their first line centerman, first line defenseman, and starting goaltender in the first 3 rounds of a draft. I think it was 15 or 17. And that, expedited the rebuild. And look at them ever since. They've been able to just completely retool their team so that they can compete year in, year out. And some teams can do it quicker than others. And I think that's what we're going to find out with Dubas, because I think what he wants to do is, the term's been all over Twitter, is a soft rebuild where you keep the core intact, Crosby, Malkin, Letang, but you shuffle the deck around them as many times as you need in order to get the product that you
retool. A retool is what we like to say.
I will say this before you go, Louie. Don't mean to interrupt you because this is your podcast. But
I don't care.
when the best players age, Sidney Crosby, Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, they can't play forever. Yeah. You have to have those next guys that are ready to fill that spot. And as an outsider looking in the Penguins right now, you have a couple of players, but other than that, they can fill that role. It's
we got no one. You're being nice. Yeah. We got no one.
And what do you want to explain why?
Me?
Jim Rutherford, our old GM.
Oh, I thought you were about to say Kyle Dubas. I was about to laugh.
I was like, yeah, what? I thought that's where you're going. I was like, why? No. What did we do?
No, because Jim Rutherford said F them picks, like the Los Angeles Rams from
he was our GM
a couple years ago.
He was our GM when we won the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
Yep. And I mean, listen, Jim Rutherford was crazy. He was like an old man. When he first started off, he was good. He knew what he had to do. And then, like, as the years went on with Pittsburgh, like, he got, like, worse and worse and worse. Like, trading, what was it? Patrick Hornquist. He traded just Hornquist for no reason. And then all of a sudden he traded Justin Schultz.
Well,
Justin Schultz on a podcast. He announced that he traded Justin Schultz, and Justin Schultz didn't know. He found out by like listening to the podcast or whatever, or the interview. Like he was like, "Yeah, we decided to move on from Justin Schultz," and he's like, I just found this out." And this is a lot of stuff like that happened with Rutherford later in his tenure with the Penguins. But when he first started off, he was good. He was good. Like he made what he had to do to get what was done. Hextall, when he first came in, he made some changes to shake things up, like getting Mathewson and a couple other guys. I remember because
the expansion draft he was horrible with.
Well, yeah, I mean, talk about Jared McCann letting that guy go.
But and what I'm hearing, Louie, is that you don't like old people.
Yeah,
you know what? Forget those old people, dude.
But if Louie, if you look at the chat, Armand, this was the trade I was getting to when I said like when he was saying screw them picks.
First round pick for Ryan Reeves.
He traded a first round pick for Ryan Reeves. Exactly, AB. Exactly.
I almost just spilled out my beer.
Why a first round pick? It was a late round. We were winning.
It's still a first round pick.
It was like pick 32, pick 30 something, and we were like, yeah, who needs it?
Yeah.
But it was for Ryan Reeves, and we had him for like what, a season?
Yeah, season and a half, I think, because then they turned around and traded him again
for not a first round draft pick.
Yeah.
But and to my point, that was in his later days, Hextall, and everyone's like, okay, I think Grandpa has had a little too much to drink here. Let's get him out of here. So Hextall chose Jeff Carter over Jared McCann. That is true. He had one forward to keep in the expansion draft, and he chose Jeff Carter. And Jared McCann is lighting it up in the Kraken area. But no, I mean, all this. I hope Dubas does what he needs to do to kind of retool, because all of those guys that we just mentioned, as they get older and they suck as being GM, we don't take like a rebuild after. Hey, you've done too much. You're gone. Let's try to get back to cup. We're trying to win a cup every single year. And I think Dubas could do it. He hasn't won an NHL cup. He's won a cup with the Marlies, but he has not won a cup as the NHL. So I think he chose the right place to do it. He just has a lot of work cut out for him during the offseason, I think. But yeah. But
I will say this: I gotta get ready to watch the Hurricanes, but check your DMs Monday, because I think if anybody's listening, Penguins fans, I think there may be a little collab on Monday. I don't know.
Collab on Monday. What's going on Monday?
DMs. He said check your DMs.
I don't know.
Oh, he said check my DMs.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing's happening.
Come on, Louie. You got to take a hint.
He's talking about hopping on the AB, on the King access.
That's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it took me
2
a
plus
second,
2 is 4, Lewis.
Come on, man. The Penguins just got. Hey, listen. The Penguins just got smoked in overtime. All right, listen. You got to give me a day to adjust, and then I could answer things like that. Yeah, we'll definitely love. We'll hop on. You hop on. We'll do it that way. And we'll figure it out. But yeah, hopefully you beat the Toronto Maple Leafs today. Also, what happened with the Capitals? We'll talk about that real quick. You're supposed to stop the Capitals from gaining points. You let the Capitals beat you in overtime. What happened there?
I don't know. Rod has said this, that he doesn't really believe in shootouts. And you had, I think our first was Evgeny Kuznetsov. He was the first shooter. And he does that thing where he just stalls and waits for like a minute.
Super slow. Yeah.
And then shoots, and it was saved. Getzel went into the shootout. He was stopped. Kochetkov had a great save on Ovechkin, and then Dylan Strome walked in. He went blocker side, and then that was it. I thought we played terrible, and I will say this. The refs called 2 of our goals back.
Blaming it on the refs.
What?
Blaming it on the refs.
Have you ever done it, Louis?
Blame it on the refs, dude.
All right. After that, I'm gone.
Listen,
I'm gone.
you up on your high horse going, it was the refs.
Oh, man. All right. I'll see. Hope to see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah.
And y'all have a great rest of your evening.
All right. I'll see you. All right. Go win that.
All right.
cup.
Later, Louis. Later, Josh.
All right. See you, AB. Thanks for hopping on.
Yeah.
Thanks for hopping on. Oh, he's so quick to get out. Armand.
He's good. Yes. I was gonna say, do you want to do that question?
Josh, let's keep on going. Who cares? It's 5:49. I got nothing going on. March Madness for me is over. Michigan State got smoked by your North Carolina Tar Heels. It was a close game at the half. And then all of a sudden,
no, it wasn't. No,
Josh, it was.
Michigan State. It was close up to halfway through the first half.
Michigan State led that whole entire like 20 minutes. And then you guys caught the lead at the end of the half, whatever. Tom Izzo going to speak to the boys, get them back up and going. They come out in the second half, they forgot to show up. Tar Heels just kept on going. Anyway, doesn't matter. And then Duquesne got freaking smoked by Illinois.
Illinois just turned it into a track meet. Just up and down, up and down, up and down.
I was watching with Abs. I was like, hey, we got to root for Duquesne. And she's like, okay. And we were already late because I think it started at like
3?
8.
Like,
3. Yeah, 5:30.
It was like a weird time. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was like 6 o'clock. So the game was already half an hour in. So I was like, oh, let's check the Duquesne score. I was like, ooh, okay. It's like 60-20. Like,
oh, well, it was. So I watched the first part of it. I watched the first half. So like Duquesne, they came out. They looked pretty good. They were holding, like, the thing with Illinois, like, from all the professionals that talk about Illinois as if they, were watching Illinois all year. They were saying that they love a fast-paced game. If they can keep it up and down, up and down, up and down, they'll win. And Duquesne, I was thinking about going into the game. Well, if Duquesne can slow it down, they got some shooters. They can put some pressure on Illinois. Well, coming out of the gate, that's exactly what they did. And I'm like, oh boy, here we go. Like, Duquesne's got a shot. Then literally just 3 minutes, 3 minutes went by and Duquesne couldn't buy a basket and it was a track meet. And it quickly became 24-7. And I'm like,
that's what happened with the Michigan State game.
Happened?
There was 8. What was the stat that actually blew my mind? They were like, Michigan State hasn't scored in 8 minutes and a half.
It was like 7 minutes and something.
How do you, as a basketball team, how do you not score a single basket in 8.5 minutes of playtime?
Yeah.
Not of time that has gone on. No, 8.5 minutes off the clock. They have yet to score. I was like, that's why you're losing. Come on. So, and that was a track meet. The Michigan State and the UNC
second half.
Second half.
Yeah.
Because the first half, Michigan State was winning. So up and down, and they just could not get up. And Duquesne got smoked. It was a nice little Cinderella story for Pittsburgh, but it's over now. It's just like the Penguins' little Cinderella story today was 4-0, and all of a sudden, just gone down the toilet. Yeah, but hey, yeah, I would love to. Armand?
Question?
Armand's?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, no. He was, well, first he said, I was rooting for Longwood to upset Houston on Friday. Don't know Longwood? Longwood University?
I didn't care either way. Sorry.
He cares about his UNC. Now his UNC team's going to go win. All right. Anyway. Question for Louie and Josh. Choose one to trade or buy out in the offseason. Jari or Graves?
I think this is self-explanatory.
Yeah, buy out Jari.
Do you want to tee it up? Tee it up? Tee it up? Tee it up? What are we doing? Wait. Hold on. Are you interpreting this question differently than I am?
Choose one to trade, one to buy out.
No. I think he's saying we have to choose one of Jari or Graves to buy out or trade. So we're only choosing one player.
See, I thought he was doing like a marry kill situation.
No, I think he's doing one player, either Jari or Graves, to trade or buy out.
Yeah, it's Graves.
Yeah, 100. It's the easy. If it's that's Graves. The question, it's 100% Graves.
First of all, if it's a no, I'm correct. Josh, get out of here with your stupid crap today.
All right, then all you go first. So, you go first.
Yeah, for me, it's buy out Jari, trade Graves. Josh.
It's opposite because that's the only solution. Graves had such a poor season, you can't get anything for him at this point. You have to buy him out, and the only other option is to trade Jari. I don't believe either one will happen, but I think in this scenario you can get more in return for Jari, and Graves you buy out.
Yeah, it's a tough situation. I don't think either is going to happen, Armand, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Armand's saying I'm buying out Graves. Yeah. Whatever. Josh has more of a mindset on that when it comes to like contract stuff. Me, I'm like, I'd bench him. Like, like that's my mindset. Which I think we technically did. We did a nice little. You could stay home.
Yeah. Have a paternity leave.
Yeah.
For the next 2 months.
So like he technically could have flew out to Denver and joined the team for this game, but I think Sully was like, no. Yeah, you could stay in Pittsburgh for a little bit.
He'll be back Tuesday. I guarantee he'll be in the lineup on Tuesday. But
so Jeff Carter.
So with
he said Monday. AB Maniacs.
Yeah, I think they record on Mondays. I think that's. I remember. No, I think like tomorrow.
Why are you whispering like he's still here?
Message him. I didn't mean to whisper. I just realized. Yeah, I just realized for the last hour I've been yelling, so I'm starting to lower my voice.
You became self-aware. Got it.
Yeah, I became self-aware. Yeah, an hour into.
Speaking of the whole time, did you hear my cat snoring?
No, couldn't hear it.
He was snoring so loud.
Can you hear my children running around upstairs?
No, can you hear that?
What?
Can you hear the kids running up and down?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh, no, I couldn't hear.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
No, Josh, we just have a great setup where no one can hear anything. But you can hear the creaks in this chair.
Yeah, I can. You got to fix that. I've been meaning to say something.
I was always wondering, is it WD-40? Anyway, go ahead.
What I was gonna say. I know everyone is super upset about Graves and the contract that he was given, but obviously hindsight is 2020. If you go back in the summer of 2023 and you see a 26-year-old defenseman who's coming off of a career year in New Jersey, you give him that contract every day of the week. That was not a bad contract. That is a good contract. He is just not performing to the level of what he was doing last year. Now, granted, should we have had some scouts to say, hey, that was only a 1-year performance. Maybe it might not be like this every year. But then I'm sure in our minds we're like, yeah, but he's going to be playing with either Letang or Carlson. It'll be just as good. It may be better. So I don't know. And Armand is right.
Sucking.
Sadly, both will be back. So maybe we talk about that gelling. And Graves has a bounce back year. Let's see. Let's hope. I don't know.
Pray. It is Palm Sunday. No, I think.
Which I thought your shirt was not the igloo. I thought it was the tomb. So
long live the tomb.
No.
Is that what?
So when it said long live, I thought that was the tomb, like Jesus's tomb.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then once I saw you lean back at one point and I saw the word igloo, I was like, oh, okay. This is not Palm Sunday Easter shirt. This is.
Which, great idea. I think that's our idea for anyone out there who's stealing
How about that shirt? He is risen.
Oh, yeah. But see, it's risen, which people who made that shirt clearly don't know what risen means. Is like what you have riz for the women.
Yeah. Charisma, right?
It's charisma. So it has nothing to do with basketball.
No.
So just for a heads up for those who are listening, Josh thought it would be funny. He shared it in the family chat. He goes,
"No,
I
just
want
with
this
you.
Shirt.
Just with you.
It was with me."
Yeah.
And he said, "I want this shirt, and it's Jesus, as what you picture in your mind of Jesus doing a layup in a basketball, and it says he is rizzing, like Riz." And he's like, "I want this shirt." So next week you'll see me in that shirt.
Won't see me in that shirt.
But it makes no sense. It makes no sense.
Yeah.
But anyway, do you ever find it strange that the longer we're on our live stream, more people join? Isn't that crazy?
And I have a question about that. Is that is that number the amount of people who are currently watching or who have tuned in at one point or another?
Yes, and so it's only for Twitter. Is that they've stopped on by checking things out?
Yeah,
and everything else is live.
Oh, okay, got it. Because like Lauren was, she was on and left at one point on one of the episodes where we had like 90, and I told her about that.
No, that counts live. So if she joined on Instagram, Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube, that records live. So if you're there for 5 seconds, a number will grow 1 for 5 seconds. But for Twitter,
but that's what I was saying, and then it comes back down, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah. But for Twitter, if you stop on by, it stays as a view. So Twitter are views.
Got it.
Everything else is actual people watching. Okay. I'm glad we had this conversation live on the podcast. I'm glad this is going to be great.
Yeah.
Man, AB went hard.
It's an afternoon game. This is what happens.
This is what happens. Also, this is what happens when you're deflated, too. You know, you're just like, you watch that game. I was so happy. I was writing things down on what I wanted to talk about for the Penguins winning. And then
throw it all away.
I literally, like, if there's a GIF I love to use on Twitter where it's, I don't know who it is. I think it's supposed to be making fun of Bobby Knight, the coach who throws the chair.
Yeah. What's the GIF you're talking about?
It's a guy grabbing a chair and throwing it, but it's supposed to look like Bobby Knight. It's not Bobby Knight.
Oh. I like using the one where the guy's at his like desk and it's just paper everywhere. And he just shove. He's like, it's obviously a guy in a fat suit. Like, you know what one I'm talking about?
No.
Yeah.
I thought you were about to say he's at his desk and he like flips his desk.
No, he's just like
that one.
Just like shuffling papers around.
He's just shuffling papers.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That's
I'll find it. I'll send it to you.
Thanks. Armand says I'm going to the Pens Devils game on April 2nd at the Rock.
In Nork.
Have fun. Don't get mugged.
Yeah.
Nork is scary. And it's for everyone out there, it's pronounced Nork. not Newark. Drives me bonkers every time we play the Devils. And Getsy is like, oh, it's another hockey night in Newark. Get out of here, dude. Get out of here. All right, Josh. Everyone's probably sick and tired of watching our face.
Sounds about right.
Yep. I'm sick of it. I'm sick and tired of looking at my own face. I'm sick and tired of looking at your face. So
fair.
Let's wrap this bad. Let's wrap up this bad. I had no idea what AB was talking about when he was like, check your DMs for something. I was like, my mind, I figured he meant a collab, but my brain went dead because I was like, Monday. It's like we played Tuesday.
Oh, I see what you were.
I was checking the. That's why I was
so confused. Why you were confused? Like I'm like, how could you be so confused about this?
And I'm like, I figured he was talking about us collabing. I thought he wanted us to go on his podcast, but he's like Monday.
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I thought he was talking about him coming on our podcast. But on Monday, and I was like, Monday. I was like, I don't think we played tomorrow.
Yeah.
And I was like, Monday. And then that's when you were starting to make fun, and I was like, what's happening right now? And he was like, and then you're like, we're joking about him coming on the podcast. And I was like, yeah. And then that's when you were like, they record on Mondays. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Makes sense.
Yep.
But yeah, that's where I was confused. And he went hard with the swear word. I thought he was going to say like the S word or something, like one of the softies. Well, not really a softie. But he was like, I was like, man, whoa, okay, yeah, maybe we should have told him no on the swears, but you're living in.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, no. Like, I thought he was just like crap or something, like I
felt like Pat McAfee when he has guests on, and they just swear, and it's just like they drop the
oh yeah, there goes our record here. Yeah. Anyway.
All right.
Yeah, let's wrap this bad boy up.
Let's get out of here.
I'm trying to think of how to edit all this, but who cares? Guys, thank you so much for joining this episode. Thank you for hopping on, listening to this terrible podcast. I wish there was more fun stuff to report, but there's not. The Penguins lose against the Colorado Avalanche 5-4 in overtime after blowing a 4-0 lead. Our next game is Tuesday, 7 o'clock against the Carolina Hurricanes. Jake Ensel will make his return to Pittsburgh after being gone for like a month.
Yeah.
Actually, like 20 days. 20 days. He's been gone for 20 days. Put that in perspective. Gone 20 days.
That's what I'm saying. These fans, like, he's an ex. You got to stop checking his profile.
That's right. Which everyone is doing. It's ridiculous. So he's gone. He's dead to us in the nicest way possible. Yeah, like he's not like we want him to succeed, but he's not a Penguin anymore. So what do I always say? This is the Penguins podcast. We're not here to talk about Jake Ensel.
Yeah.
Armand says, "Oh joy, the Canes on Tuesday. The Pens will choke another lead away or get shut out." I think the latter, buddy. I think the latter, especially if Jari is starting. So, all right, Penguins, Canes, Tuesday, 7 o'clock. We'll go live after that, and maybe we'll have AB on after that one. Who knows? We'll go a twofer. We'll go on his podcast on Monday. He'll come on our podcast. Who knows? AB, you better check your DMs, dude. Yep, so that'll pretty much do it. Thanks to everyone for watching on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. I know I already said Facebook, but it's just because we're live for the first time on Facebook. It's bonkers.
Yeah, all of these people on Facebook are like, man, these guys talk about nonsense.
Yeah, I know. Bad episode for you guys to come on Facebook for the first time. We've had players. We've had Josh Gets Off on, and you come on with two stooges talking about
Coach Donnie's breakdowns.
Oh, we have Coach Donnie. Yeah, Coach Donnie breakdowns. That'll be on Tuesday against the Canes.
Yeah.
Oh, so we got to figure that out. That's a scheduling conflict there, but we'll figure that out. All right. That'll pretty much do it. Usually we have better outros, I promise. You guys just caught us on a bad day. Bad deflated day. Who cares? Thank you guys so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. We'll see you in the next one. Josh, as always,
let's go Pens.